Dear brothers and sisters, today we delve into the heart of one of the most fascinating chapters of Christian history, the apparitions of Fatima. These are not merely mystical visions, but a complex mosaic of mysteries, encapsulated in three secrets that have stirred not only the Church but the entire world. More than a century after these extraordinary events, the echo of Fatima still resounds, bringing with it questions that seem to intertwine with the very fate of our future. Why do the apparitions of Fatima evoke both fear and fascination in the Church and the hearts of the faithful? And how can we be certain that the supernatural manifested itself in Fatima? Through this video, we explore these questions, seeking to unveil the mysteries hidden in the messages of the Virgin Mary. We invite you to join us on this journey of faith, and we ask you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, to become part of our community, and stay updated on upcoming content. Before delving into the events and secrets that shook the world, it's crucial to clarify a key point. Contrary to what many may think, the Catholic Church approaches phenomena such as apparitions and private revelations with extreme caution. The Church scrutinizes these events with rigorous seriousness, aware that although they may seem to confirm the Christian faith, they can hide pitfalls, such as heresies or false doctrines promoted by those seeking to exploit the faith of others. This cautious attitude is confirmed by history, as in the case of Medjugorje, where, despite the growing number of pilgrims, the Church has maintained a position of cautious skepticism. With this necessary premise in mind, we must then ask ourselves, what happened in Fatima to prompt the Church to take both the apparitions and the secrets that the Madonna left to the three visionary children very seriously? As mentioned, events occurred in Fatima, perhaps uniquely, that managed to break any skepticism within the Church. In the 1930s, the Church declared the visions of the children credible and officially allowed the worship of Our Lady of Fatima. This declaration was confirmed by John Paul II, Benedict XVI, and Francis, who have shown strong devotion to Our Lady of Fatima, a devotion they did not hide but publicly declared. To understand where this strong devotion comes from, we must comprehend that in those days of 1917, in the heart of Portugal, truly astonishing events occurred. In 1917, in the heart of Portugal, three children, Lucia, Francisco, and Jacinta, testified to having encountered the Virgin Mary, who promised them future apparitions. These claims caused a sensation, especially in a period of strong governmental secularism in Portugal. But despite the pressures and imprisonments, the faith of the young visionaries and the faithful did not waver. What definitively shattered every barrier of skepticism was the miracle of the sun on October 13th, when, in front of hundreds of thousands of witnesses, the sun appeared to dance in the sky, a phenomenon that even the most skeptical and government media were forced to acknowledge. Remarkably, the miracle occurred on the exact day and hour that the three children had predicted. This event, which can still be reviewed by reading the newspaper pages of that era, truly has a miraculous aspect. But it's not the only reason we can consider Fatima a real sign of the divine. Another aspect that the Church considers to attest to the authenticity of mystical phenomena is the analysis of the lives of the protagonists of these events. In this case, they were three children, Lucia, Francisco, and Jacinta. They were three illiterate shepherd children who spent their days grazing animals. Simple children who could hardly orchestrate such a hoax. Francisco and Jacinta died a few years later, as had been prophesied during the apparitions by the Virgin Mary. Francisco died from the Spanish flu epidemic, while Jacinta died from a long and painful illness. Of the three, only Lucia lived a long life, dedicating it to the Lord and living in isolation and prayer. Lucia did not derive any personal benefit from the visions of the Madonna, and this aspect also supports the authenticity of the whole affair. Although the miracle of the sun was exceptional, the Madonna of Fatima left some even more important messages to the three shepherd children. She left 3 secrets that, as we know, left the whole world holding its breath. The first and second secrets were made public in the 1940s and concerned, respectively, the vision of hell and the prediction of the end of World War I, followed by a warning about the possibility of a more devastating World War II if humanity did not convert. Moreover, the Virgin requested the consecration of Russia to her Immaculate Heart. For various reasons, the consecration of Russia was only performed in 1984 by John Paul II. A few years later, from 1986 onwards, new political lines began to emerge in Russia that led to the dissolution of the Soviet bloc. Many believe that the consecration performed by the Pope contributed to the end of communist Russia. But it's the third secret of Fatima that raises the greatest concerns. The Vatican only made it public in 2000, describing it as a prophetic vision of the suffering of the Church, which included the image of a pope being killed. The secret was thought to have prophesied the assassination attempt on John Paul II, who was miraculously saved. John Paul II remained convinced throughout his life that divine intervention had saved him that day, a belief confirmed by the testimony of the doctors who operated on him. The bullet took a strange zigzag path inside the body, preserving vital organs. Despite these evidences and its publication, many believers and scholars have founded suspicions to believe that not all of the message has been revealed, fueling theories that suggest the existence of still hidden parts, which could contain more severe warnings or specific predictions not yet fulfilled. Hypotheses are supported by some words of Benedict XVI, who, during a visit to the shrine of Fatima, declared that the messages of Fatima are not limited to a past historical reality, but continue to be relevant for the future. His exact words were, "It would be an illusion to think that the prophetic mission of Fatima is concluded." But what did the Virgin Mary communicate that was so terrible to the 3 shepherd children, if even today, after more than a century, the Church does not want to publish the full text? The most probable hypotheses are 3. Some believe that the secret predicts another world war, even more devastating than World War II. This hypothesis regained strength at the beginning of the conflict in Ukraine, when Pope Francis decided to once again consecrate Russia to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. A decision that confirms again what we have said before. The Catholic Church not only firmly believes in the revelations of Fatima, but seems to know a frightening future that it is trying to change in every possible way, following the indications of the Virgin Mary. The conflict in Ukraine seems to have indeed opened a dramatic scenario. The hypothesis of a dramatic war is now increasingly likely. Did the Virgin Mary warn against a nuclear conflict that would destroy and annihilate humanity forever? This remains a hypothesis that today, both because of the Pope's behavior and geopolitical issues, seems to be possible. But there are also those who believe that within the third secret, the Madonna prophesied a new persecution against the Church and a great mass apostasy with many Christians losing their faith. Pope Francis has made very harsh statements. On several occasions, he stated that the devil has managed to enter the Vatican. We do not know specifically what he was referring to, but it seems clear that some events would have deeply troubled him. And Pope Francis was not the first pope to make similar references. We cannot underestimate the resignation of Benedict XVI either. Is something terrible happening in the Vatican? Has evil managed to penetrate the Church, and will it manage to destroy it? Another hypothesis concerns the possibility of a divine intervention that could change history and save humanity from a global catastrophe. Did the third secret prophesy a terrible scenario that only God will be able to stop? We have no certainties in this regard, but it seems that the Church might be hiding the content of the third secret to not disturb the faithful with what could be dramatic and apocalyptic content. but also to avoid attacks from enemies who could use it to discredit it. At the same time, the Church seems to be taking actions, like the repeated consecration of Russia, aimed at avoiding a dramatic scenario. We do not know exactly what the third secret hides, but we know that those who have read it have been extremely disturbed. The third secret, according to the indications of the Virgin Mary, was to be revealed in 1960, but John 23rd, after reading it, decided not to reveal it, and so did the other popes. Dear brothers and sisters, we cannot know what will happen in the near future, but we know that the Madonna has called all of us to conversion and prayer. Let us not forget to pray. Let us not forget to profess our faith and follow the example of our Lord Jesus in all aspects of our life. Let us know in the comments what you think about the apparitions and the 3 secrets of Fatima, and do not forget to subscribe to the channel to not miss new videos and become part of the community of faith and prayer. God bless us all.